Thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Today I'm going to go up to Eagle Lake. I'm at the Eagle Falls trailhead. I'm going to go up to Eagle Lake and I'm going to practice fishing marabou jigs with my left hand and my spinning rod. I'm a little banged up today. About once a decade I seem to have a close call where I could have grave bodily injury or risk of death occur. And yesterday I was fishing the West Walker River for Wilderness with Amani Patreon to practice fishing left-handed. And I was standing on this big piece of concrete that was about this thick, that was connected to the boulders where the river's really close to the Highway 395, and it helps to keep it from eroding. And out of nowhere, I was turning to leave, and the entire slab I was on snapped in half, and I free fell 3 or 4 feet backwards. Luckily, my pack protects my back and my spine, and it also kept my head from hitting the rocks. And then my elbow landed in sand in between the rocks. So the only injury I got was I feel like I got kicked by a mule right here. I mean, it hurts. I couldn't even sleep last night. But I'm good enough to hike still. Fishing with my left hand with this jig yesterday was an eye-opener. I thought it was going to be easier than fly fishing left-handed. It wasn't. I had no accuracy. I managed to get a nice brown in the net. I lost another really big wild rainbow that I fought for several minutes. And I got a couple other rainbows in the net, so it wasn't a complete disaster. But I need to practice more before I start doing a couple of long-haul hikes that I have planned for the next couple weeks. And if I'm going to hike 9 or 10 miles day hiking round trip, I need to know that I can do this. Marabou jigs work at Eagle Lake. It's the first place I tried a marabou jig before I even went to the Truckee with it. And I have my fly rod just in case, because marabou jigs work until they don't. And that's when I'm going to bust up my fly rod. But I got my spinning rod rigged up left-handed. I'm just going to hike up there. It's a short hike. It's only like a mile, so I should be up there in about 20-30 minutes. So let's hike up there and go see if we can't put a couple browns and rainbows in the net. Man, going up these steps with that sore spot on my backside hurts. I'm all banged up. I'm rolling chitty bang bang today. And the creek flowing out of Eagle Lake is going good, man. I've never tried to fish this creek yet, but I might give it a shot if I get out of here early. Forgot how steep these stairs were. So there's Eagle Lake. Up that tough grade is Velma and Dix Lakes. I got all that hiking action on my backpacking and hiking playlist. Dix Lake is broken up because I ran into snow 2 attempts, even in like June, late June. So I couldn't make it, but you can piece it together. And Eagle Lake is the low road, which I always appreciate. So it's good. It looks like I can easily get across this creek. And here's beautiful Eagle Lake. Last time I was here, there was ice covering that back section. I'm gonna make a few casts in the front here because it's gonna be zooed with people. This is a short hike, popular trailhead. A lot of people come here. So I'm gonna fish this first. Then I'm gonna do a little bit on that side. And then I'm gonna go fish towards the back of the inlet. And just like yesterday, I am just yanking this thing. I don't have any, like that fine-tuned control I usually have. I got none of it. But, you know, I got it out there, so for right now, that's just gonna have to be good enough. And I don't have any direction. I should have come out here yesterday first before I tried a river. That was just a mistake. I'm thinking it might be time to get my fly rod engaged. I'm actually doing really good getting finer tuned action on my jig. I'm just not really getting the hits I was hoping for. So So before I go with the nymph, I'm gonna put on this woolly bugger. It's a bigger one. And I saw a brown cruising by, and that's why I'm going with this, and it sinks fast. It's pretty deep here. I got one of these fish that was cruising, and oh, I gotta get down there and get him. This is a rainbow. Oh man, I'm in the tree. I gotta get out of this tree. Beautiful fish though. Oh, and he swam up and just grabbed it. There we go. That's a beautiful colored rainbow. Whoa, there he goes. He's back in the water. So I got that fish on this little pheasant tail that has fallen apart. So I'm gonna probably trim it down and try to keep using it. So what I was doing with that fish is, I was trying to throw a bead head and strip it a little bit, and they were all just so scared of it because it's not very deep here, and they were just swimming by, sipping the surface. So what I did with that fish is I put that little pheasant tail on, I trimmed it up, I cleaned it up, and I just threw it out like that, and I just let it sink. And the breeze is blowing my line, and I just waited until I saw my line go. If I strip it, they just swim away. So I stopped doing my usual strip routine because, you know, it's different every time, man. And you just, when you're fishing nymphs are a very versatile thing that you can fish. And without the bead head, this nymph sinks a little slower. And I could just flick it out there like that and just wait. It's inlet time. I'm loaded to bear. Let's go. I'll figure out what I'm going to tie on for the inlet when I get back there if I'm able to fish it. Last time it was really marshy and I had to stand in the water, which I'm not against, but it's always best to wait and see what the conditions are, because they're going to be different than this. Sucks. I'm almost to the back of the lake and there's fallen trees in the way. It's nothing I can't climb over, but it's a little more than I was hoping for. I've been back to this inlet area of the lake since the first time I came here, and it's a little bit more of a challenge than I recall. I'm getting some good practice casting left-handed, and I'm getting my fine-tuned twitching in, which is I'm gonna need in the lakes that I plan to fish the next few weeks. So that's good. I'm just not getting any interest in my jig. I'm not even having any fish follow it. So I don't know what the issue is, but the issue is they don't want marabou jigs today. This big wall at the back of Eagle Lake, I've seen people back here with ropes. I don't know if this was the main event or if they're practicing for something bigger, but people definitely climb back here. So if you're the adventurous type, which I am not, that likes to climb, there's a big wall for you to climb. Whenever you're climbing around on stuff like this in the back of a lake, you just got to be real careful. Because even though someone knows where to find me, if I don't contact somebody, you don't want to get hurt back here. You don't want to have to leave in a helicopter. So just never look at the spot ahead. Just always look at where you're stepping. It's far shallower than it was last time I was here. It's left-handed stacking is what I'm doing. The area I need to get to is on the other side of these bushes, but if I remember from last time, I don't think I can get there, but I gotta try because it's really shallow right here. Last time this was all flowing and there were a bunch of fish everywhere, but this time it's just not like that. All right, I'll be able to break through some brush and get over here. So this looks good for a lot of possibilities. But there's a lot of trees and brush everywhere, and I'm left-handed. So it's gonna be what it is. Wasn't getting any luck on my fly rod. I was battling with all these bushes, so I threw on a Sierra Slammer. Oh, get out of the bushes, buddy. Get out of the bushes. Oh, he's in the bushes, man. That's a brown trout. I gotta give him some room to swim. There we go. Get out of there. Get out of there. Okay. All right. And here he swam right up and grabbed it. And I was having trouble with my fly rod because there's just bushes all around me and my line was getting cut up. Look at the beautiful spots on that fish. That is a beautiful brown right there. Let's get him back in there. I'm using the Sierra Slammer now, and these work really good in alpine lakes. And I flipped my woolly bugger over there a couple times, but it was such a clumsy approach. I couldn't. Every time I flipped it out, I was getting caught up in these bushes. And so what I did with this Sierra Slammer is I just tossed it out, left-handed of course, and he came right up, didn't even hesitate, man. He just, boom. And trout, wild fish love these things. These browns are all over it, man. Whew, that's a nice brown for a Sierra Lake. Let's get him over here. Keep him out of those bushes. Ooh, no, not in the bushes. There we go. That's a nice brown. Look at that guy. It's a nice brown for an alpine lake. He's jumping, doing everything he could. Get him back out there. There he goes. Woo, he's out. And he ripped my Sierra Slammer to pieces. So it's still really early. I'm gonna call it. I got a few nice fish. You know, I got something for everybody. One on my fly rod, one on my spinning rod, but most importantly, I got to practice casting the marabou jig, even though they weren't working at all for the first time in 3 trips here. But I got to practice casting that thing a lot and working on my retrieve, because I'm going to be using that. I'm going to go on a long haul trip next week. And I think I'm going to be hiking about 10 miles round trip. So I wanted to get that extra practice in before I go. But this is the only one I got. This usually has more tails on it, but those brown trout ripped them off. And this is a Sierra Slammer. And I have a video on my trout fishing tips playlist where I talk about using jigs like these. Now, if you go somewhere like Cottonwood Lakes or somewhere that's got special regulations, like Marlette Lake, you can use these because they don't have scent. Powerbait makes jigs that look very similar, and those have scent infused, and those are illegal in special regulation waters if you're fishing in the Sierra. So just keep that in mind. But trout love these things, and those were wild browns, and I threw this thing in there and they were all over it. All over it. You know, I don't know what that imitates, but, you know, they work. And, you know, there's a dozen different ways you can retrieve them. They're just like any other jig. They're very versatile, but they're effective. So I hope you enjoyed this practice day of me fishing left-handed. Those of you who are new to my channel, I kind of blew out my right elbow. I got tennis elbow going on. I was fishing so much. But it's getting stronger. And then when that gets done, I'll have both hands and be able to do a full attack. So thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.